Shout out to For the City Podcast. You know what it is, For the City, Charlotte.
Yes, sir.
You make me sick.
Man, welcome to 40 City Podcast. We back, and this our second guest. We got a second guest with us.
Two, man.
Sir,
Second guest, man. So I'm gonna let my brother bring him in.
I wouldn't know. They be doing podcasts without us all the time. I don't even know. Is this number two?
But yeah, I'm gonna let my brother bring him in, man. We got a special guest with us today. We're gonna talk some, some business. So can you go ahead and
show, man. I got my boy Kendrick right here. I met him sometime last year working at we was both working a sales job. That's how I met him. He was like my mentor coming into the sales world. And since then, when we first met, of course, we was only like talking about sales and stuff, but we go in the break room, bro. Like very, very bright dude. Like knew so much, was putting me on the new stuff. Then he was like talking to me about crypto, talking to me about investing and all these different things. And since then, he's not working at the sales job no more. He's doing everything that he said he was doing, like when we used to be in the break rooms at Target and everything. And that's what I think is pretty dope. So yeah, we can start off with that. Like, what was your mentality as far as all right, once you quit the sales job that we were both working at, and before you really like dug into everything you're doing now, what really made you say, okay, it's time for me to go ahead and go after it now?
Right. Man, my journey started like in 2020 when I picked up Rich Dad Poor Dad. I had stopped playing ball. I was a football player at Charlotte, so I stopped playing ball. Picked up that book, man, and was like, all right, I'm gonna read this. Everybody recommends this book, like starting out. So I was like, I don't know what's special about it. I'm gonna tap in, see what's going on. Picked up the book, read it. I was like, man, like this is crazy. Like I'm seeing the world completely different after just reading this book. I was like, everything that I've been taught, I gotta basically unlearn and relearn. So that's the reason I even started with the company that me and Keenan was at, because the book recommended, like, when you're starting out, find something like sales to start building up a skill. So you get in a sales position, you learn how to work for your own money, learn how to build teams, learn how to work with people, talk, communicate, all that. So
that's exactly what that job was.
yeah, you had to communicate with everybody, but yeah, that's where I started, man. That book really changed my life. Since then, man, I've just been, head down grinding, applying that pressure.
Yeah.
What was one of the biggest things you think you had to unlearn?
That you had to trade time for money. Yeah, I thought, growing up, my parents, they both worked W-2. My mom had a little bit of entrepreneurial spirit, but she still, like, just seeing the sacrifices that they always had to make didn't make sense. And then, like, you see other people, being able to have freedom of time, do what they want. Seemed like it's a stress-free life. Seemed like it's fake almost. I'm like, man, what are they doing different that we aren't doing? So I was always conscious of that, but growing up as a young black man, like, football was like, okay, this is my only route. I've been playing this my whole life. This is the route to get there.
Yeah.
So I guess learning that, I didn't have to trade time or physicality or just physical work to get there, and learn that I could do it with my mental. That was the biggest thing for me. Yeah.
Powerful.
Yeah. So let's talk about like what you got going on now, because I know you did your first deal, like was it last week or
something like that?
Something like
yeah,
that. For real.
So, I mean, right now I'm in a few different ventures. I got a partner that I started a Turo business with and a short-term rental business with, and we got into that game by doing rental arbitrage. So a lot of people think that you need cash up front to get into the game, but you don't. You just need to get a plan of action, get the right people together, etc. So that's what I did. I started out doing that. And then recently, in December of last year, I learned what wholesaling was. So, like, I heard about it over and over again, but I didn't know. I was like, man, I don't need to do that. I got my plan. I'm focused. But then I realized that was just another tier of real estate investing. I was like, hey, I want to get deeper into it. How can I do it? So, in January, I partnered up with some guys in the area that are doing wholesales. They just showed me the book, man. They were like, hey, like, this is what you need to do to successfully do your first deal. So, I worked with them, and I technically locked up my first contract in January, but that contract fell through along with a couple others that I locked up. So I got to learn process of what locking up a bad contract looks like, or locking up a property that you can't move. But since then, I've successfully had some go through. First wires touchdown.
That's the great thing about me, like, knowing about Kendrick and stuff, because like outside looking in, of course, like, especially I watch HGTV. I'll be telling you that all the time. Like, of course, you watch Flip or Flop or whatever. That, like, most of the time, it's always like just the positives of like deals and everything and how much they're gonna make. Sometimes you'll see like losses and everything, but it's actually good to like hear that.
Oh yeah,
it's definitely a possibility that like you're gonna take L's and you're gonna win some, you're gonna lose some.
But, yeah,
and you haven't even been doing it that long, so you already like growing and knowing like how to avoid situations already, which is awesome for real.
Yeah,
so
definitely gonna take some L's.
So what would be your advice to, like, would you give somebody that like wanted to maybe start going your route? You know what I'm saying? Somebody that's, you know, doing something different. They looking for a change of career, looking for new sources of income. Like, what would you say?
I would say vision is most important because you got to know what you want. So you got to think to yourself, hey, is this the life I want? Are these the things that I want to commit myself to doing? And then you got to kind of decide, like, okay, if I want this, what do I need to be around? Who do I need to get around to get there? What do I need to learn? Who do I need to become to get there? So I would recommend, like, it's a self reevaluation first. You know, you got to say, hey, am I the person I need to be to get the things that I want? If not, you got to change that first. As you start to align with what you want, the path kind of just aligns in front of you.
Can you describe for people who don't know what wholesaling is?
Yeah, so
Like
wholesaling is a way to generate capital, but basically being a broker of a deal. So you're able to find properties off market, or I tell it like this: you're able to help somebody who's looking to sell a property without going on the MLS and transact that house with a buyer or an investor that you know or that you go out and find for a larger price. So it's to break it down, you can find a house at $100,000, but know that somebody wants to buy in that area for $110,000. So you're the broker. You get the house under contract and you sell your rights to the contract to the buyer.
So for somebody on the outside looking in, because I know earlier you said people think you got to have cash to get into the game.
Right.
For somebody who hears that and says, okay, well, if I find a house for $90,000, don't I have to have the check to write for that before I can transfer it over to the person that wants to buy it for a larger amount? What would you say to that person?
You don't. You have to have a contract in your whatever state you're in. There's contracts out there that say you can do this. You got to check the rules and regulations, make sure it's legal, make sure you don't have to be permitted. But if somebody wants to sell their house for $90,000 and you know that house is maybe worth more, or that you might know someone that wants to buy it for more so that they can put the work into it, or they love the area, etc. And all you got to do is get that house under contract with them, take the contract to the buyer that you know. You close in, X amount of days, whatever days you and the seller agree upon.
Got you. And is it best to find those deals on sites like Zillow, or is it best to just ride around and do it manually?
They're everywhere, man. Driving for dollars is a technique that a lot of people do. Where you drive around, find distressed properties. If you're looking online, you can find distressed sellers if a property's been sitting for a long time, like they're trying to sell on Zillow, or they're on the market for a long time, they haven't moved. They're probably looking to get out of that property unless they are sitting and don't need to. But it's a contact sport, so the more people you talk to, the more successful you're gonna be. Yeah.
So like, I know you say you didn't have to have the cash up hand, but do you have to have the credit?
No credit required, man. Just hustle.
So
Hustle.
You mentioned earlier you got the job for sales because you wanted to get better at working with people.
Right.
How do you think that helped you? Because in your position, you got to work the phones, right?
Yeah.
And you got to, you know what I'm saying? You got to be good at working with people. You can't just be a hermit in the crib, not trying to reach out. So how did that help you?
I was the kid who used to get in trouble for talking all the time. So I came up getting in trouble for talking. So it's crazy how like that turned into my biggest skill. So I've always been good at communicating with people, connecting, building relationships, networking. So when I got into it, it was more like okay, I'm discovering I got some talent into it. How do I transition and understand like what to do with this? So as I learned techniques, ways to help people out, that's when I started to win. And then, I got to bring Keenan in, and that was an experience because I got to kind of show him, like, I've been in the business a little bit longer. This is what it took to get me here, and just, you know, seeing him complete his first sale and the look on his face. I still
Shout
remember.
out that old man.
Yeah.
Shout out that old man.
I still remember he looking back like, dude, I'm about to get this sale. I'm like, yeah, bro, go ahead, sign that. So just like experiencing that, helping people along the way, it's a blessing.
Hey, talk about like I know I read a couple of books and on YouTube, especially when I go on YouTube. Anytime like Millionaire Mindset, a lot of times they talk about having a mentor. And I know as far as real estate, you have a mentor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Talk about just how important it is to have a mentor.
Yeah, I say it's important to have a mentor in every aspect of your life. Like if you see somebody that you wanna be in a position, or you like the way they move or the way they're able to give back and inspire other people, you need to find out how you can add value to them, right? So you see someone that you look up to and you're like, man, how did they get there? But you don't know the steps to take. The role I always approach is, man, where could I help them out? Where do I see that there's a potential opportunity for me to step in and say, hey, I can do this for you, so that way you can get closer. When you get closer, you get exposure. When you get exposure, your mind opens up because you're like, wow, like this is something I never thought I could do, but here I am right near it.
Right.
So, you know, it's definitely important. I found my mentor through Instagram and just reached out. He threw his phone number back at me, and boom, I was in a mentorship program 2 weeks later.
just off IG. That's
Off
crazy.
IG, yeah.
I know earlier you said something about the culture. I mean,
Yeah.
just how you had to unlearn things. How important do you think it is for people to be around and see that things like that are possible doing real estate? Because, I mean, I don't know about you, but the way we came up, we didn't know that was possible to do stuff like that. We thought working a 9 to 5 was just going to be our life.
Right.
So how important do you think it is for somebody to get close to a mentor and see that stuff is possible before they can actually get in the game?
Man, you don't know what you don't know. So, like, yeah, ignorance is definitely bliss. And people that look like us don't get many opportunities, but that's not an excuse to not go out and get it, right? So, you know, we live in a day and age where you can see anything online. As people of color, we know all the designer brands, we know the top athletes, top celebrities, but we don't know the top businesses. We don't know about credit. We don't know about the things that's actually important that these people that you look up to have in a place, have aligned already. So it's like, yeah, you gotta get exposed, but you gotta want more for yourself. So it's like, okay, they're at this level of success. What steps can I start taking to see that for myself? Like, it's easy to pick up a book about credit. It's easy to pick up a book about how to start a business or decide what you want and then start taking routes to get there. So, yeah, it's definitely important.
To
Question.
piggyback off, my bad. To
No, go ahead,
piggyback
go
off this question.
Yeah.
So we pretty much saying how like a lot of us don't know what we don't know.
Right.
So when you decided to change your career, like did you have family, friends, people around you saying like, I don't know if this is a good idea? Like,
Oh, yeah.
mainly because of, like you said, ignorance. We don't really know what we don't know.
Yeah.
How did that like? Did it help you? Did it set you back? Did you find ways to overcome it? Like how did that all?
I feel like I know what you're about to say because I watched the video when I was with you that low-key was talking about that a little bit.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Man, yeah, I definitely had people saying, like, well, you crazy, man.
Right.
Like, my family in specific, they're not used to that. So they were like, how you going to do that?
Right.
Well, I was like, well, just watch. So you don't know what you don't know, right? But you also aren't going to find what you aren't looking for. So you can't I can't tell somebody to say, hey, like, why aren't you looking for this? They got to want that.
Right.
And it's more of like an intuition thing. Like, once you start to connect with your purpose, you're going to start thinking different. Like, okay, if I want to help people, how can I help people? Because I was asking people that. I was like, I want to help people out, but I don't really know how. They're like, okay, go help somebody out. So you may take different steps and different ventures along the way, along your journey. It may not be the exact path that you're supposed to be on, but you're going to learn a skill. You're going to meet somebody that you're supposed to connect with along your path. And it may lead you to a whole nother opportunity. So I would say that, yeah.
Right. So I'm a like switch the topic a little bit. I heard Keenan when he was introducing you, he brought up crypto. My nigga, what is crypto, bro? And like, I be seeing people like, in my opinion, like I just think some people just like see something online, they just randomly throw money in it and don't really know what they doing. So like,
Right.
could you speak? could you speak on like what is crypto and like what would you how would you advise people to go about maneuvering through the new world of crypto?
Right. Crypto is obviously fastly shifting. Like people are like, what Shiba, Doge, like throwing money into coins.
Shout out Doge.
Shout out. No, man, not Doge. Nah, but crypto is crazy because you see, like, right now we're experiencing inflation. So, like, if you study trends, you got to know what's happened before to know what's coming at you.
Right.
So people are like, oh, inflation is bad. Like, this is happening. Okay, this has happened before. What did people do? Oh, they were trading dollars for gold. They were trading money for stocks and bonds. Okay, cryptocurrency is like a digital asset of that. So like, I'm no expert either. Like I do know a lot, I would say, but the guy that taught me, again, I found another mentor who's been in it since 2009, and he was like, dude, you need to study coins, because I was just like, where do I throw my money at? He was like, he's like, why would you put your money somewhere? He's like, would you go give your money to him and expect him to give it back to you with more money? I was like, no.
That's a good.
He said, why would you do that with anything else? I was like, I don't know. I thought I was investing. But he's like, no, go study coins. He was like, go study projects that make sense to you. And if it's a project you're passionate about, it might not even be a good project. But as long as you took the time to study the project and say, hey, I want to put my money there, at least that's step one of the process. As you get skilled, you're going to be like, okay, this is a project that I really can invest in. This is a coin I can invest in and believe in. Now you put money on that, and it's starting to make sense for you. You start to see returns.
Right.
Then your passion gonna build up to invest in it more.
Yeah, maybe I touched on it, but like, what do you see like people with their biggest mistakes when they like just try to start doing crypto?
Dumping money in, blindly looking, just dumping a ton of money in. Some people don't diversify, so they pour all their money into one project. When really you should look into multiple projects. You may fall in love with a project, but never put all your eggs in one basket. So you got to diversify. You got to see, okay, what the trends are, what's the wealthy doing if you're trying to make money. But if you're actually trying to invest in a passion, invest in a project that you just love, you might not make money right now, or it might not make money in the future either. But it's about like, okay, I was a part of that project and I built that up. So
take me through the process of like studying. Like you say, you study a coin, or you study like this company or something. What is that like? Do you just go online and like just type it in, and you just go on a binge reading, or is it kind of like structured?
Yeah. So you could look up the creators of coins, and that's what I would say. Look up the creators of projects. So for me, a coin that I like a lot is Cardano. The owner is Charles Hoskinson, and I looked him up. I was like, okay, let me see what he's about. I'm like, okay, he's a people's person. So he's building a coin and a project where people are going to be able to benefit off this. He's like, I'm starting a project out in Africa. It's going to be a running system. People are going to be able to do A, B, and C with it. So I was like, okay, I'm going to put money there. And luckily I got in at an earlier time, and then I saw like my money 2x. And it's not, for me, it's not about just the money, but it's just about like, okay, I saw a project, I believed in it, I put some money down.
It's like chess.
Yeah. And it makes
just
money
like chess.
in the end.
And it makes money in the end. But that's not money I'm looking to touch.
Right.
Yeah.
We can go into
It's
that
just
too.
you got chips and you having fun playing with them.
Right.
Putting them where you feel like, okay, that can
Like,
accrue
yeah.
wealth, and then once you see that actually happen, I mean, I'm sure that's a passion for you.
Right, yeah. So it's like, I definitely think generational. I have a son, so I'm thinking about things that I could leave behind for him. Because I think another thing about, our people is that they think having the best job is everything, right?
Right.
And you can't pass down a job. You can teach somebody the skills of a job, but what if you teach somebody the skills of a job for 10 years and they're like, man, I never even liked it.
Right. Yeah.
So I think about things that I could pass down that are going to hold some weight and hold some value. So maybe they could put that somewhere else,
It's funny you said that because I was just having a conversation. I was like, I know so many white people that get inheritance. I've never met a black person, or at least I don't know of a black person that when somebody died, got an inheritance. And I was like, that's why, you know what I'm saying, white people be ahead of us.
Start over.
Yeah, we start over every time, but they get an inheritance, whether it's properties, whether it's money itself, whether it's companies, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sometimes we even get set back further when somebody died. Like sometimes that debt.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to cut you off though.
Yeah, you good. Yeah, but you made a good point. Like you piggybacked off. That's what I'm saying. So I feel like, you know what I'm saying. That's why I feel like it's good to have you on the show. So maybe you reach some of our followers, like, so they can get a better understanding, like, of how things work. So I feel like in the black community, like, bro, I didn't hear about any of this when I was growing up. Like, and you touched on it earlier. It was like, we think the only way out, we got 3 ways out: play football, rap. You know what I'm saying? Or that's 2, but ball and rap. You got the hood.
Acting, maybe.
Yeah, or acting, something like that. Entertainment, you know what I'm saying? And we think that's the only way. And when there's so many other ways to make money, when there's so many other ways to, like, you know, be smarter and, like, build up your community, like, we just don't know why, like, they out here getting, like, way ahead of us. And, like I said, it's like a 100-year gap. Like, we still just now start. We still on, like, the new phase of this, and we, like, so far behind. But, like, I feel like we can start building it up as a community and buying our stuff. Like, that's why I get mad at some of my homies, like, from, like, grow with. Like, bro, y'all fighting over a property that a white man own, bro. Y'all down there
killing each other.
Yeah, killing each other over property, over your hood that a white man own.
What Jay-Z say, don't die over the neighborhood that your mama ran.
Yeah.
Exactly, bro.
Like, see it every day. So, yeah, we definitely, black people are conditioned to think a certain way.
Right.
We do like to be, we are the culture too. So, like, we decide to flow. So, like, we put a lot of money into designer. And things that, for me, it's like, it's cool. We still want to look fresh. We still want to look clean. But it's like, okay, think longevity, too. Like, you're not going to survive off a pair of Jordans. You could have put that same money into something else and bought you a couple other pairs. I got some Forces on. But still, bro, it's just like, you can still have those things. Just have them, in portions. Like, learn to say, I don't need to be at every drop every Saturday. Right. Unless you balling like that. I mean, go ahead, do what you got to do. But, it's just start thinking different about it.
Yeah, I had to do that because, like, I was on sneaker, like, every week. Like, then I was like, bro, I can be doing other stuff with my money instead of, you know what I'm saying? It's just losing it, basically. Because once you put the shoes on, you lose value.
Right, yeah.
Last episode, we were just talking about music and how it influences.
Can I ask you something real quick, financially?
Yeah.
Go ahead. I had a quick question because how can you describe to them how long has Toro been? Is this something that's just started that's about to trend? Because I seen it about 6 months ago and I was like, this is gonna blow up.
Right.
But I didn't know if I was early on it. I didn't know how, because I've never heard about it before. Mm-hmm. So how long has Toro been?
Right. So I got to give a shout out to the guy. I ran into Pushman Mitch, who is a guy out of Atlanta. Mm-hmm. Ran into him, and he stopped me. I was wearing a Spurgo shirt, which is a 15-year-old millionaire. So he stopped me from that. He's from Philly, same part. And he was like, yo, love the shirt, blah, blah, blah. So we get to chopping it up. My brother-in-law recognized him and was like, I think he's about to speak at this conference that we was down at. So we started talking with him, and then he just gave us a follow on Instagram. I didn't know who he was at the time, so I go on his page. I start scrolling and looking. I'm like, dang, he got like Rolls Royce, Lamborghini, like, and not that it was like crazy. I was just like, why does he have so many different cars? I'm like, he rents out a lot of cars. I was like, that's weird. Mm-hmm. Then I look back, I was like, oh, he's renting the cars out. Mm-hmm. So I realized that, that's when I learned about Turo. That same weekend, I came back from Atlanta. And I came back to my job. I was like, yeah, this ain't it. I just
right after I was going to.
Yeah, you once you're out in Atlanta, you round all the black wealth. You like, man, what are they doing? They laughing at people that got to go to work. But to get back to what you were saying, so that's my first eye in Turo. So I literally quit my job and then.
So you had never heard about it previously.
Never heard about it previously.
And when was this?
This was July. No, this was May of last year. So I quit my job.
So it still is not.
I think it's
crazy
still
popular.
New.
It's still fairly new.
Okay.
But basically, it's just a platform that you're able to list a car on. Whether like everybody probably has a car right now, or the majority of people have a car that could qualify to list on Turo. Mm-hmm. So it's like under maybe 100,000 miles, and it's got to be newer than like 2004. So you could take a car that you already have, and if it's got a note on it, say it's like $300 a month, you could list it on Turo for like $50 a day. So a couple days out of the week or a couple days out of the month can pay off your car note. So you're like, dang, like my car note's paid. If I leave it out there longer, it can start making me money. So now what used to be a liability to me has somewhat turned into an asset. Yeah, so I would say there is opportunity to make decent money on the platform. I would also say a lot more people make money by teaching how to get into the game, showing, you know, the ropes to start the business, because there are a lot of cars on the platform. I wouldn't say it's the biggest cash flowing asset, but more importantly, it's something that teaches people like, hey, you can take a liability and turn it into an asset. And once you turn it into an asset, you start thinking differently. So that's what gets the wheel turning.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's good stuff, man.
I know he preaching, son.
Bro, he's a gym spitter, bro.
Yeah,
He
I
spit out
just
gym.
I wanted him to touch on Turo because I feel like it's probably people watching that haven't even heard of it yet.
Yeah.
So
I
I mean,
jumped
if
on it.
It's Airbnb for cars. That's what I tell people.
I
Yeah.
found out last year, bro. I need to. My car broke down. I need to rent a car. I had to go to Tampa, I think.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, yo, I need to rent a car. This junk too high. I ain't paying that. Then somehow, somewhere, I saw Turo and I clicked on it. Oh, 50 a day. You know what I'm saying? And I already got insurance, so like, you know what I'm saying? And it was way cheaper than paying like $100 something a day and all these hidden fees and all that junk you got to go through. And so that's why I jumped on. I started thinking like, yo, and I remember you had brought it up. It had me thinking like, yo, I'm about to.
Don't point at me.
My fault, cuz. But I'm about to start trying to tour out my car. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you can pay it off that way. Because the dude I tour from, he said, I just tore my car out and I pay my car payment with it. And it's like, I've been doing it for like 6 months now and I'm almost done paying it. He was like, I take money from my job and then I get off here and like pay more than I'm supposed to pay. And I'm almost done paying it off already.
Boom.
I'm like, dang.
Yeah.
And if you live in a bigger city, like me and you stay by airports. You know what I'm saying? People come to the city. They need something to drive around real quick. Like I live in Orlando, Florida. You know what I'm saying? People land, hey, go to Disney World.
Bro,
Yeah.
I ain't telling people where I live, bro.
I said you live by airport. They don't know. I said I live in Orlando, so yeah.
Yeah, I got
That's
it
one
on me.
airport in Charlotte, bro.
Yeah, pull up on me if you want to.
You got it on you.
Got it on me.
What was you gonna ask him though?
Yeah,
Low key, I forgot that question.
And he
but
said he wasn't going for
I know, bro.
This
I
nigga said he
have
was
trash
Something about
memories.
music.
This shit is.
Something about music.
Yeah, I remember that part, but I still don't remember.
Oh
but
my.
I was gonna switch it up into something different.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you've seen, this is probably like our third episode where we talked about like life after football. Have you watched that one yet?
Yeah, I seen that.
Yeah. So talk about how it was for you in that experience when you decided, okay, I'm done playing football. Did you already have a backup plan then, or was it kind of you took some time and then started trying to figure things out? What was that like for you?
So at the time, while I was on the team, I was already working Amazon on the side, delivery vans, working at the warehouse, delivering packages on the weekend.
That's a whole episode we can talk about too, right there.
Yeah, you could. I feel like everybody from Charlotte done been in a warehouse somewhere. Like, you work at Amazon? Too? Yeah, you seen people in Amazon. But yeah, at the time I was already working there temporarily. So when I stopped playing ball, I just picked up the extra hours there. I had just found out I had a little man on the way. We was like in the height of the pandemic. We didn't know if the season was gonna go on or not. So it was towards the end of camp. And then, you know, I just was like, man, it's not making sense for me at this point. Like, I love the game, but I was starting to question my love for the game. Yeah. And it was like, I don't know if this makes sense anymore. I was like, I got to start thinking differently, knowing that I got someone I got to provide for coming up. So I just stopped. I woke up one day, I was like, it's not it no more. Woke up. And it took, you know, when you stop playing something that you've been doing your whole life, like I'm sure we all can attest to it. It's like, shoot, it's like, what do you do? It's like, what do I do with my hand? Like, you know, just, it's one of them things. So it's like, man, I took some time to, like, while I was on those roads, I was just driving. I was like, you know what? I'm going to listen to some podcasts, see if I can clear my mind instead of listening to some music. And then podcasts started shifting, you know, guiding me in the right direction. I was like, okay. I was like, I think I'm going to go ahead and read this book that I keep hearing on all these different podcasts. So, you know, it's crazy. Like I said, I just started thinking, you know, I wanted more for myself because I knew I wasn't trying to be like the old guys that's, hey, if you work here 60 years, you're going to put up enough to retire and stuff. I'm like, yeah, that's not what I want to do, bro. That don't make no type of sense. So, I had I say 2 week, 3 week period where I didn't really have that much direction. But it started with me saying, instead of just listening to music for 10 hours out of my delivery route, I'm gonna listen to podcasts for half that. But then when I started a podcast, I was like, man, I'm gonna listen to this the whole day. I was like, man, I learned this, I learned that, I learned this. I was like, okay, this is gonna take me somewhere. And like I said, it pointed me to the book that I needed to read that ultimately changed the trajectory of my life.
That's dope. That's dope.
What podcasts do you listen to?
Man,
Earn Your Leisure.
Earn Your Leisure is one of the big ones, man.
I've been telling them about that one.
Yeah, Earn Your Leisure is big. They do a great job. David Shands does a great job on his podcast. Millionaire Mindset. There's a lot of gems. Right now, I think I don't really tap in as much anymore because I'm more of an audiobook guy now. But there's anything that you're interested in, there's a podcast for it.
Right.
More
Yeah.
podcasts are starting up. So it's like I was so excited when Keenan told me, he's like, yeah, we about to start a podcast. I was like, word, bro. I was like, this is something that's up and coming.
Right.
This is not a big market, but you starting to see more people want to see stories, more people want to be able to connect and hear like, yo, how did you get started?
Yeah.
Or, you know, what do you do? Or like, what does it look like to be a music artist? What does it look like to be Jay-Z? Like, people want to tap into that and listen to that.
Right.
So podcasts are everything. So, you know, if you got any type of interest in something, go
a
find a
podcast.
podcast for it. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite?
If you get it wrong, be mad.
I mean, I guess for the city. Man.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. This is my first podcast. I've done like videos that seem like podcasts, but this is my first one coming on. So I'm glad that I'm a support y'all, but it's a favorite that I like to listen to. It would probably be around Earn Your Leisure. Because just the diversity of business moguls that come on, I get to experience a lot through it. You're like, oh, that's something I would not want to do. Or that's something I would maybe want to do, but I got to find the right person to connect with to get into it.
So
There's some
like,
smart cats on there.
like, so everybody nowadays, I feel like for some people it's becoming more of a trend than actually like really doing it. But like, can you speak on like to the people that's out there that's like trying to start a business or looking to start a business, and like, can you talk on like some of the negative, because we always hear about like the good stuff that happens to these businesses. Can you talk on like some of the negative things that like you go through when you're trying to start a business or you trying to get your idea out there? Can you speak on that and like some of the traps people fall into when they new in the game? You know what I'm saying?
I think one of y'all said it's you got to be comfortable with taking risks.
Right.
Like a job is just security, right? So
Yeah.
when you work in a job, you just supporting somebody else that's willing to take that risk. So, and it's not necessarily always the biggest risk. It's just the people that commit and decide, I'm going to do what I want to do versus do what I think I have to do. So when people starting out in business, there's a lot of fears. There's a lot of controversy. You may have your own parents telling you, oh, that's not going to work. You know, one of my closest homeboys, he's always telling me, he's like, man, my mom only thinks school is the only way. I was like, yeah, that's because she was raised that way to think that way. So you got to be the person to say, hey, no, that's not the only route. Like, some of the wealthiest people in the world do not have a college degree.
Right.
So it's just like, yeah, there's gonna be some mixed emotions when starting, and yeah, there's gonna be some failures along the way. But you gotta you didn't learn to walk right away. You didn't come out and just start walking.
Right.
You kept falling down, and you fell and you fell and you fell until you figured out, hey, I could put this foot in front of the other foot, and then again and then again. It's the same way with business, bro. You learning how to walk, learning how to ride a bike, like. I don't know what's in front of me, but I'm willing to say that I want to keep going. Like, things are gonna knock me down. When I got that first house under contract, I was lit. I was like, man, what? I was like, is this easy? I was like, all right, I'm about to have a blast. And then I realized, I was like, oh, I don't have it at a good price. Okay, now I'm scrambling. It falls through. And I think another thing is, I want to, like, with my platform personally, I'm starting to show more of, like, the good and the ugly too, the good, bad, and the ugly of what can happen.
I think that's important too, bro.
It's mad important. Like, it's not as easy as you think. Trust me, it's not as easy as you think.
Yeah, cause I be seeing I be watching some stuff. I'm like, bro, I know it's not that easy to start a business. And like, cause some like you just see all the good stuff, bro. Like, you don't see the years or work they put into it and hustle and all the denial and stuff they go through. So I feel like when a lot of people start businesses and stuff like that, as soon as like something negative happen or it might not be starting off the way you thought it was going to start. It might be as big. You see a lot of people kind of quit and go in. I also think people don't do enough research before they go. I seen this one thing, this girl, and I'm not bashing like food trucks or nothing like that, but like I seen this one girl, she didn't look up how much gas costs for the food truck. So she was losing money, like running around all these places to park her food truck. And people was telling her like, yo, it was a spot like outside of downtown where you could have bought that and had people come to you and it's promoted. You would have, with the money you put into the food truck and for the gas and the kerosene and all that, you could have bought that place and been running it and not losing money like that. You feel me?
Right.
So I feel like just touch on people like, you know what I'm saying, like do how important it is, like do your research before you just like jump in, throw all your money in or your time in.
Right. You know, the thing about that though, like she wouldn't have learned it probably if she didn't.
I was gonna
do it.
tell you that went
Experience.
with what you were saying with the steps.
Yeah.
Sometimes you might take a step and you're like, oh shit,
You're right.
let me go.
Yeah, it's like, don't go that way. But, but like I said, like we're in a day and age where we have so much like access to everything. Like you can get on YouTube and kind of get an idea of how something's going, and you could look up if you have a question on your mind. It's like, well, what happens if they Google it? It's something's gonna pop up or somebody's gonna share like, this is what happened to me, but this was my solution. So that's how you can kind of start to build the confidence. But they call it analysis paralysis when you look at something too much and you never take action. So I'm big on taking action because that's what got me where I'm at. Like I was like, I had to just take action. Like despite not knowing what's on the other side, I was like, shoot, somebody got to do it. So I was like, let me start. And again, I'm not no big business owner or anything like that. Like I know the basics of business. I know to get an LLC, a EIN, a DUNS number. But again, like a lot of people don't even know what those things are. So
I just started to learn on that because I just like started a business. So
you saying you need a healthy balance. Like it's good to study.
Definitely. You know, do your research, but don't get analysis paralysis. Don't wake up every day and say, okay, let me study this, let me study that. Just go out and take some action, see what it looks like.
Right.
Ooh,
just jump out there.
Did you like that? Did you have fun while you were chasing it? Were you scared? Like, feel your emotions. See what you think like in those situations. And if it's something you want to keep pursuing it. But definitely give it some time at least. Like I tell everybody, at least if you're gonna experience something, commit 3 months just to see what it may go like. That's what I was telling Keenan. You know, when he first came into sales, he was like, I don't know if this is for me. I'm like, man. He's like, I don't know if I can talk to people. I was like, bro, you talking to people left and right. You know, I knew he had a lot of friends coming up. I was like, man, you just got to get out here and talk to people. And, you know, he did it for 3 months and more. He's like, you know, he started getting the process of it. He learned it. But then after 3 months, you can kind of decide, is this something I want to pursue longer? Or is this something that was just a step in my path?
Right. And he still learned the skill. You know,
he learned the skill. Take that with him for the rest of his life.
Right.
We're running out of time, but I did want to switching up a little bit. I know you keep mentioning you got a little man. What was that like, and how's it like so far as being a father?
Yeah, man, it's the greatest thing on earth. Like, yeah.
Shut up.
Look,
I mean, not yet.
yeah, it's definitely, you know, God. I feel like God aligns you where you need to be with who you need to be. Me and my girl, she, you know, we've known each other since I was in middle school. She was in high school. We knew each other since then, and we just kind of kept in touch throughout our journey. And the Most High blessed us with a little one. When I found out, I was scared as hell. I was like, oh snap! Like, I was an athlete. Yeah. I was focused on trying to get to the NFL. I was thinking me. But this was like, boom, it like shook my world up, slowed everything down. I was like, no, it's not you. It's purpose. It's what are you here for? It's what do you want to do? What do you want to leave behind? Do you want to leave behind a legacy? Do you want to, you know, be a great father? So once I got over the little fear of like, man, I'm going to be a father, I started accepting. I was like, man, this is going to be great. And you don't know during the whole, like, you got 9 months to think about everything. Right. But it don't hit you till the baby pop out. And it's like, whoa, like, I made this. Like, so it's a lot of emotions. But for me, man, now it's just like, I love coming home and I'll open the door and my son cheesing. He like, yeah. I'm like, that's mini me. So it's like, you know, it's a different type of connection that you can't really explain until somebody's in it and they feel it for themselves. But, you know, for the people that think right, you know, that have the right mindset going into it, it's just an adjustment.
Right. Like hearing you speak on it, bro, like, you know what I'm saying, do make you like, you know, like think about that like long term, like one day.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you got something?
No, I was about to wrap it up.
Oh yeah. Oh well, yeah. I was gonna say, I'm not there yet, but I did raise this one right here.
But nah, I appreciate you coming on for sure.
Yeah,
Just
bro,
had-
bro.
Appreciate y'all having me. Man.
Yeah, I gotta like follow you and get your information. And
Oh
stuff,
yeah, most
so-
definitely. Most definitely.
like you inspiring. I hope we can get you back on here sometime for real.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I'm about to drive for dollars a night.
going around neighborhood.
One deal makes it real.
Nah, but don't you want to shout out any of your pages or anything so people know like where they can
Facts,
contact
bro.
you or
Yeah.
follow you, all that?
I mean, I'm most social on Instagram. I post a lot of my stuff on there. It's Ken_the Connect. It's the Connect because I'm always trying to figure out how I can help somebody out. Or if I meet somebody and they have a specific niche, I'm always trying to say, I know somebody over here, I know somebody over there. So I found out, relationships is one of the things I'm biggest on. So, but yeah, Ken_the Connect. Connect with me on IG, and that's where you'll find everything else from me.
Facts, bro.
Unless
Again, bro, we appreciate you coming on here.
No doubt.
You know what I'm saying? We all learn. Hope y'all took something away from this. You can take it for your business or just your life period in general. Or in cryptocurrency, stop dumping y'all money because y'all heard your best friend say something. But man, this 40 City Podcast. Thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe, make sure you follow my dude right here. We're gonna post all his stuff down below. See you next time.
Sick.